Hello, Bucs fans. We are back. We are live here on a Wednesday. It is Real Bucs Talk here with you guys. Welcome in. And as you guys know, the Buccaneers were eliminated from the playoffs. They lost to the Detroit Lions in a very good fought matchup. They didn't give up. They lost 31-23. Uh, Buccaneers, I think we got to be proud of this team. I think they did a pretty good job, getting to the divisional round. Just couldn't make those tiny plays, and a lot of stuff that went on during the season came back to bite us in the end of this game. Just little miscues here and there that continued throughout, and they showed their head again and ended up being the difference in this game. But congrats to the Detroit Lions making the NFC Championship game. Wish them the best of luck against the 49ers. But I'm your host, Michael Plus, joined as always my co-host, Mark Ramirez. Mark, just your thoughts on this game as we dive into it one last time, and then, talk about what's next for this team as we head into the offseason.
Looking to the future, it's a lot of bright things you can look at. There's so many young pieces. A lot of the defensive side of the ball, it's a lot of young pieces. You saw what Kalijah Kancey could be in these two playoff games. Like, he was almost unblockable. They started doubling him more than they doubled Vita Vea. I never thought I'd see that. Gets a sack a game in the playoffs. So, the interior of your defensive line is pretty much set for the near future. And you just have youth all around it with Yaya Diaby, Christian Izien. So potentially, like, the guy that you're wearing right now is going to be moving out, and another young players coming in, KJ Britt. So you just have cornerstones all around. Zion McCollum, not to mention, right? So you have so many youthful guys on this defense where if they just find a little piece here and there, the defense can be scary. And then offensively, I don't see. Guys in the chat, let us know. I know how Baker has a love or hate relationship with almost everyone. The dude just keeps playing, and they all fight for him. You hear nothing but good things about it. People even try and see through what people say about him, like what the teammates say about him. Like, oh, they're not going to badmouth him. No, but they can not say anything. They can just not give a remark. They're saying only good things. I don't remember them saying anything like this about Jameis Winston, his last game that he played as a Buccaneer. So, do I want Baker back? Yeah, I was pulling for Baker all year, wanting him to get over that hump where it was like, stop holding the ball so long. Let's continue with the offense. But offensive philosophy is always there. Like, Canales and the scheme was there. It was just the timely hits, catching the damn ball, like Krillin's saying. Like, Mike sometimes drops balls, and that first interception should not have been an interception. Mike catches the ball. Okay, we're short. We punt the ball away. No harm, no foul. But it's, if the band comes back together and you add some pieces, you're talking about a really formidable team where a lot of people were saying we weren't supposed to be here in this situation to begin with. And we end up being one of the last 8 teams in the league and potentially winning. We're tied at one point in the second half. So, and fighting to tie it in the end of the game. So offensively, if you can keep the guys together, Mike, bring them back. Baker, come back. Canales, please stay. Let's see what we can do. But there's a lot of good things, and as a Buccaneer, you're hoping for that. I don't understand the hope for Kyle Trask to be your quarterback moving forward, or a rookie. Yeah, rookie draft later, but I wouldn't draft high a rookie. What's your stance on that?
Well, I think Baker's going to be back regardless. I think he's your guy moving forward, especially with Todd Bowles returning. As long as Todd Bowles is here, I think Baker is probably going to be your quarterback for the short term, at least for the next 3 years or so. So I think Baker will return. I think they'll get Mike Evans back. But just looking at this game, I think Baker did a pretty good job. I think the only negatives for him is 2 of these sacks that came on him in key situations. So that was
not recognizing the pressure, corner blitz.
Yeah, so that was one of the bigger things. And again, it goes into the small details that we talk about as far as just being on time with your offense, being on time with, throws and understanding. Yeah, no Batman tonight. Did not bring that guy out for today's show. But Yeah, I think I think Baker is definitely good enough, especially if you get, you upgrade your center because Robert Hainsey has definitely he struggled throughout the year. So you upgrade your center, you build some more pieces around him, and hopefully, which we'll get into more. Dave Canales. Hopefully, Dave can come back as he's going through the interview process right now. So hopefully, you have him back. But I mean, I thought there's a lot of good things from this game. I like how they responded to the Detroit's punches every time. Like they came back right away. Like you said, they were tied at 17 all going into the fourth quarter, and Detroit just played better in that fourth quarter. Like we couldn't capitalize on the opportunities that we got. Especially in the fourth quarter to take the lead, or even the second half to begin with.
Getting the ball back first half, you could take
Right,
the lead, right?
just couldn't get those points that were necessary, and a lot of good performances. I mean, Mike Evans, again, played well. Levante David, KJ Britt, all these guys did good things. Kalijah Cansey, like you talked about. For Detroit, again, they were led by Amon St. Brown and Sam Laporta,
Amon
doing
Ra.
great.
Amon Ra.
Amon-Ra St.
Wait,
Brown,
I
yes.
heard you were saying it messed up, class.
Oh, okay. I'll just say St. Brown, but St. Brown and Sam Laporta did a really great job. Brian Branch played well for them defensively, so they had a good plan. And Jared Goff did a great job. That's pretty good numbers there. No interceptions, no turnovers for them, and that really was the difference. The turnovers for the Bucs versus none for the Lions usually is a key to winning.
And it's the points that you either left out there or you just gave up, right?
Yeah,
So that first interception, you're gifting 3 points to the other team. But
right.
then you also didn't take away the points. That was a gift. Jamel Dean decides not to have any hands at all, gets a
Mhm.
gift to almost potentially run it back for a touchdown, drops it, and they end up getting 3 points. So there's a winning versus a losing team option right there. And then you get into field goal range, you get sacked back multiple times, considering he had sacked 4 times. 2 of those times were pushed back out of field goal range. So you missed 6 points there, not to mention missing a field goal. That's a
Yep.
huge point differential, especially in a playoff game. That's how teams win. That's how teams lose right there. You got to maximize your opportunities. And every time it felt like they could move the ball with ease. And then
Mhm.
when it came to that point, you have a timely sack, a timely
Yeah.
just miscue. There wasn't many penalties, to be honest. It was just that to me, a free runner like that, the quarterback is the hot. He has to understand who's coming in because the
Mhm.
offensive line, they have their set, they have their 5 they have to cover. Now it's on the quarterback. He's got to get it out fast. Yes, I did it on the film study where Rashad White looked like he fell on one of them because he tripped over
Mhm.
Baker. Okay,
Yep.
but still, you got to understand that heat's coming. You got to get rid of it. So yeah, Baker isn't a perfect quarterback. No quarterback is, but he ran the system pretty damn good. Near the end
Mhm.
of the season, it just got better and better. And I like how some of the knocks are he can't beat winning teams. Okay, well, he came back and beat the Eagles. Yes, they were a shamble of themselves, but he still beat them in a high pressure cooker situation.
Right.
He pretty much performed in this game.
Mhm.
Besides the last final interception, he was balling out. Like, yeah, like it was to me pressure right up in your face. He's trying to throw a lob ball to Kate Ott in the middle of the field. He just didn't realize this the damn linebacker is that damn athletic. Jumps up, makes a hell of a play. Uh, yeah, it's on him 100%. Like he threw the ball directly to the linebacker, but overall, like 4 quarters, he was balling out and giving his all, and literally like, he was the team. Like, they were fighting
Mhm.
with him, and it's a cool thing to see how they all were centered around him and how bad he felt at the end, and you see Tristan Wirfs picking him up, like, walking him with him, and, yeah, like, this is a guy that wants to be here too. Like, remember Jameis Winston's exit, press conference? He's
Yeah.
like, "I'm balling. You see my numbers?" Like, Baker's saying, "No, I wanna be here. This team helped me out. This organization, helped me through some things.
Right.
There's a guy that wants to be here, and I think the team wants him to be here. Let's see what we can get going, right? Like I wanted to come to fruition, and then we just start building on that, not just being question marks all around. Like we got an OC, do we not got an OC? Let's see, right? Like
Mhm.
we know we got a head coach. What are
Yeah.
we doing moving forward, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think you saw that through this game. Obviously the offense, I think, was, playing really hard. They were fighting for each other. Baker was doing his best to operate the offense efficiently. And I think for the most part, they did that. It just came down to, like we talked about, where the missed opportunities, the little details here, Rashad falling down on a blitz pickup cost you points. There's Baker not understanding where the hot read is on a couple of sacks. Like, you got to get rid of it. And some of that is a credit to Detroit. I mean, they did a great job of scheming that up, understanding where we're trying to go with the football. Like the one in the second half where he double pumped because a guy dropped back into Mike Evans' zone as far as the slant. Like, they were going to Mike on that play, but Baker realized that guy's coming across is probably going to be an interception. But at the same time, you have to understand, okay, I just need to throw this in the dirt or do something to get rid of it. Airmail it, whatever you got to do to, potentially get a points here and rely on your kicker, who has been, one of the best in the league, if not the best. So I thought that was good from the offensive standpoint. Defensively, that first drive after we gave the ball back to them, where they went up 24-17, that was a gut punch to the stomach, because they were running the ball, and then when they were passing it, they were just doing little dump offs to Jamar Gibbs. For whatever reason, our linebackers went back about 10 yards because they were trying to cover those in routes, that were successful early on in the game. But I think Todd had it right in the first half, where they were playing aggressive man coverage. And I think that's what they needed to stick with, because it was working. And who cares? Like, if you get beat deep, then so be it. But Jared Goff wasn't showing he was going downfield. He was just taking the first read that was open every time, you know? So I think that should have been the plan, continuing with the 4 and 5 man pressures and stay aggressive on your coverage, and see if they can beat you that way. Because from the tape I gathered, and you guys will probably see that sometime tomorrow, they weren't very successful when we played, a lot of man coverage behind our pressures, especially with Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey getting in there. They were doing a good job. But you have to give credit to Detroit. They did a lot of good adjustments, and Ben Johnson, that's why he's one of the best OCs, probably going to be a future head coach. And you got to give him credit. And I think we talked about this, Mark. You can expand on this more. They've just been together longer. And
Yeah,
I think that was the difference in this one.
yeah, 100%. I mean, like everyone's big thing was, oh, we weren't supposed to be here. In my opinion, like but you're there. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, how many
Yep.
opportunities do you ever have, right? Some
Mhm.
guys get there and never make it again, right? So if you're in this position, you ball out as much as you can to win. But
Yep.
the reality is the continuity of players, continuity of coaching, continuity of system, and belief in each other and togetherness that the Lions have. And then not to mention a crowd that literally has been wanting it, emotional all over the place. Like they're fighting for not just for themselves, but for their city. That's a hard beat, right?
Mhm.
And like they just didn't make any errors. Like this is a team that knows what they have to do. They're gonna play all out, but they're not gonna make many errors,
Mhm.
and they haven't done that in any game. Like, and when they do, they lose. But
Yeah.
but that's
Yep.
their thing. Like, let's not make mistakes. Let's get after the ball. Let's try and run it as much as we can. And the passes, just get them out quick. And that's usually
Mhm.
what their MO is. That's what it was the first game. That's what it was this game. Todd was calling them out on it in that first half, and then kind of switched off of it a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like we have so much youth on the defensive side, like I was mentioning, but they were doing really well. I think Yaya, we were talking before the podcast that I think he was hurt because he wasn't really being a force like we've seen him be.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's something he can expand on and grow on and get better at. He's a damn
Mhm.
rookie, right? The guy that
Yep.
played defensive tackle and how we moved him at edge, and he's trying to learn that in the NFL level.
Mhm.
So it's just that's what we have, and they have guys that are already proven, getting after it. Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, it's what is his second year, but still, he's second year. Yaya's first. Their whole system they've been together a lot longer, so it's the continuity that they had over us is telling. And we stood in there, returned punches, but that fourth quarter kind of got away from them. And yet still, again, just like every game this year, we were in it until the end. I mean, Baker could have let it drive. He did it multiple times before. So,
Yep.
and those who want to worry about, oh, the timeout and should we have taken it? I mean, they were already in victory formation. I think there's probably a damn agreement. If not, they make a field goal. If they miss a field goal, it's still like less than 20 seconds to score.
Yeah. Got to
I
go a
guess
long way.
I mean,
Yeah.
hey, it's what it is. And
Yeah.
guys, we will mention about cuts in the future later as everyone's asking about Carlton Davis and Chris
Mhm.
Godwin and stuff like that, like cuts and who stays, who goes. Plus is wearing one of them that we can't wait to talk about. But yeah, yes, takeaway plus.
Yeah, no, we'll get into that very soon. Just a couple more thoughts on this game as we pretty much move full tilt into, the off season, which is, it's a fun time, for us as fans. And, we like the team roster building part of it. And we like to, get into that, especially here on this channel. We like to talk about the draft and free agency, who's potential targets. We like to do potential film studies on targets. So, yeah, I mean, if you would have told me, a couple months ago that the Buccaneers would have the 26 overall pick, I'd be like, what are you smoking? What kind of drugs are we taking? But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much progress this team made over the last month and the run that they did, getting to the playoffs, winning a playoff game, which is a great feat, getting to the divisional round, and you were so close
Yeah.
to playing this weekend. Just couldn't make. We had pretty much had to play a perfect game because that's what Detroit did. They didn't make any errors, like you said. So we had to match that, and we couldn't do that consistently because there's some roster weaknesses up front. Defensively, we don't have that premier edge rusher that can just win automatically. And then on the offensive line, we just don't have that girth in the middle as far as center. And it hurts you at times, especially. And then just certain guys making mistakes, like you said, Mike Evans got to catch the ball on that first play, that interception, and then understanding protections, and guess what that comes with? That comes with time and experience in the system, understanding where guys are going to be. So just looking back at this game, I'll bring it back up here one more time. Let me see if I can get it back on here. But yeah, I mean, overall, you got to be proud of what they put out there. I thought it was a well fought game. Detroit was heavily favored, and still they were this close to pulling it off. So I think you got to be proud of what they've accomplished in this season going into next.
Oh yeah, it was. Everyone was wanting to write them off, play for the pick, right?
Mm,
And then all of a sudden they said, "Hell no, we are a good team. We're going to prove this to you," and just freaking slap everyone in the face and just start dominating teams, or not dominate, but they start winning 2 games in a row. And then that third game is Packers. They're just blowing people out, and you're like, "Who is this damn team?" So that's what I want to see. Like I want to. That's why I want to see it come back together. Can it be the second half of the season team? Can that lull in the middle be gone? Right, based
mm,
off of them understanding who the personnel is, where are we supposed to be, um, having an offensive line that's an improved offensive line that can run the ball. And we ran the ball occasionally well, but we
mm,
never consistently had a running game. Imagine if we can up that, how much better the play action fake could be. And we're near the top, if not the top play action team, because we got a quarterback that can do that, right?
yeah.
So imagine giving Baker an actual good running game. I'm saying that because I'm hoping Baker is back. Um,
Hmm.
and then, yeah, I saw that as soon as Dean got injured, defense just fell apart. And that's another thing, though. Dean and Carlton Davis you can almost pigeon in at least 3 to 4 games a season that they're going to get hurt.
Hmm.
It's frustrating, but that's a part of it. And
Yeah.
that's why they have Zion McCollum. That's probably why they're going to likely draft another corner this year, too. And we'll get on the cap casualty stuff soon. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you want to hit on this point right here.
Yeah, I was just G Vegas, great comment here with, yeah, team did very well considering early buy, $80 million in dead cap. So you didn't have a lot of money to spend
Mhm.
this offseason. And yeah, a lot of obstacles, first offensive coordinator as like first year calling plays. and Baker learning a new system, new offensive line, defensively trying to find a pass rush, trying to find guys coming together, figuring it out as far as safeties. Like Ryan Neal didn't pan out, so you had to interchange those guys and get comfortable with who's playing safety back there. And and then injuries on top of that, like you said, Carlton Davis missing however many games he missed, and then Jamel Dean being out, and it's just constant rotation. But at the same time, with the beauty of it, you found guys like Zion McCollum who you think can step up into a future starter role. You found guys like Christian Izien, so that's awesome. But yeah, great points by G Vegas. And also this one, I mean, we haven't talked about the draft, but Cooper DeJean is a top guy for us. Like, yeah, we would love to get this guy because he's a world-class athlete. He plays corner, he plays nickel, he can play safety. Guy can do it all, but the problem is he'll probably be a top 15 selection because he's that damn good. So you hope he can fall, but again, we'll get more into the draft as we get closer. But yeah, he's definitely on our radar.
Hoping that stereotype really drops him.
Oh, what happened?
No, I'm just saying. I'm hoping that stereotype.
I can't hear you for some reason.
Oh, well, can everyone else hear me? Is that a yes or no? Well, I'll keep talking. But yeah, like, yes, because he's white. Yeah. So, yeah, because what was it? The stupid who was it? Rashard Mendenhall wanted to do the damn draft of whites versus blacks. I'm like, why is this even a topic? And they're like, yeah, no corners. We got no corners. We're gonna put Christian McCaffrey at cornerback. I forgot who else they were gonna put there, but hey, the stereotype is what it is. Last one since what? Jason Sehorn. I think that was the last corner. But I mean, let's see. That's why they're kind of pigeonholing him at safety instead of cornerback. But he's literally one of our top guys to get because not just heady, he's a returner, gets his hands on the ball, knows what to do once he gets it. An upgrade could be at corner and at safety. Plus, can you hear me now? Guess he can't hear me. Damn, plus in his audio and everything. But yeah, so draft, we're always really big on the draft. We're going to bring up a whole bunch of videos on that. Any guys you want us to look at, always drop it in the comments. We'll probably put something in the community tab about guys you want us to look at. But Zion McCollum, let's see, KGH for life. Zion McCollum was picked on. Maybe the Bucs should bring another DB. Like, we're just mentioning that. I don't necessarily think he was getting picked on. I mean, there was a 3rd and 15 that they picked up. It was just a good timing route with Jared Goff, and it sucked because he tackled him at 13 yards and he picks up 2 more yards, broke a tackle. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was just touching upon cornerbacks and Cooper DeJean. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was the second best season since the Super Bowl, but it was a fun season nonetheless.
Yeah, I think it was a season that showed, promise and hope, right? A lot of potential, a lot of new players that are coming into their own. You hope they can continue to progress. You have to be excited with this last year's draft, especially with Kalijah Kancey, Cody Mock, Yaya Diaby, pretty much the whole class. Like, you have to be excited about what they can bring. Can Trey Palmer, take steps forward? So that's a big plus, and hopefully Jason Light can duplicate that. It would be awesome if he does, if he can find gems like he did this past offseason, especially in the center position, maybe, safety. We've seen him draft safeties in the later rounds that have become good. So
Jordan Whitehead, come back.
Yep, Jordan Whitehead. So yeah, definitely. And with that said, let me see if I can bring this up. No, it's gone. Oh wait, no, there it is.
Yeah, because there's a lot of topics to bring up because everyone's talking. So Lucas brought up a good one. Lucas Pettis. Dave goes to Carolina. He's going to ruin his head coaching career. I want to touch on that first. So
yeah, that's a big topic.
I want him. My mouse is messed up again. Here we go. Okay, so I want him to come back badly. Yes. I'm hoping he's just being strategic and going through the process of interviewing. Anyone that gets that job, it's going to be rough. And yes, you're a great offensive mind. You're a great communicator. Good. You know what you're saying. You believe in what you're saying, and people believe in that, and they will try hard. But this is a tough situation. You got an owner that's illogical at times. Yeah, you got Dan Morgan, who you know based off of your time in Seattle. But this is just a people want to get out of there. No one's wanting really
Yeah.
wanting to stay. So I just think either way, you just 1 year of being an offensive coordinator. Get your feet in the dirt, really get in touch with what you're supposed to be doing because he was learning game by game what to do. He would openly
Yeah.
tell you that. I really like that aspect of him. He's very open saying, "Yeah, I'm learning the run pass. I know we're really good at passing, but I really want to run it." This game,
Mhm.
he totally abandoned the run. He was like,
Yeah.
"Forget this shit. I'm passing." That
And they
is
actually
what I want.
yeah, and they actually ran it well. The problem is you just couldn't really run it consistently because guess what? The Lions defense was just not good against the pass, and you had to continue to take advantage of that. And also, you wanted to stay level with what Detroit was presenting, especially with them scoring points. So yeah, you had to throw the football. But yeah, to your point, Dave, I think we'll be back. I'm not worried that he's going to leave. I think what you said, he is definitely looking at the process. He's getting experience for the interviews, preparing himself for that day that will probably come, but I think it's going to be at least, 1 to 2 more years down the road. It could be potentially with the Buccaneers. It could
Yeah,
be potentially with another team, but I think he understands what he has here. He understands that Baker's most likely going to be back, and you got to be excited about what the team can do, especially if most of the pieces return. You add a couple pieces here and there, and you can figure out this offense and call it in a way that we saw in the last half of the season, where that is the formula that works. Pass early, set up the run later on in the game, score points as much as possible in the first half, and you go from there.
I can't agree with this statement any more than it's physically possible. Malice learns from mistakes, unlike the previous Bucks OC. That's what
Yeah.
I said going into the playoff game too. I was like, I believe we can win the game. I think it's a toss up where we can. It's like possible we win because I know we have a possibility of being good, of
Yep.
being a team that can score and a defense that can do enough. Right. I had no faith in buying left.
Mhm.
Actually, I knew exactly what was going to happen, so I knew we were going to lose. I walked
Yep.
into that expecting nothing, expecting to lose. And every game, I expected to be in it in this season, and we weren't
Mhm.
even supposed to be in any game. We were supposed to win 3 games. Remember that?
Yeah.
Every media outlet and Bucks outlet for that matter said 3, 4, one pick. Caleb Williams, here we come.
Mhm.
Nope, they had their own agenda. And then Corey Hall. Again, I can't agree anymore. On guard,
Mhm.
we need better center play and guard. We touched on that earlier. I don't know if you were here, but I think all of our film studies kind of mentioned how Hangy doesn't really have it in the pants to hold up
Mhm.
in the run, hold up in the pass often. I know they trust him a lot in making the calls of who the rushers are coming. So it gets the pressure off of Baker Mayfield to read that. I don't know if it
Mhm.
happened in this game because there's free rushers, but still, like that guard play. Yes, Cody is it Mock, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
He improved throughout the year. I think he's only going to get better. Left guard center, yes, needs an improvement, and that'll only help the running game, help give Baker clearer windows to throw to. I mean, if they bring back Baker, which they should, that 100% needs to be an area of focusing on.
Yeah, I think it lines up, especially adding a center. I think you keep Cody Mock at, right guard, let him gain mass and build into his body. I am hoping he trains with Luke Gedeke and Tristan Wirfs this offseason, and weight lifts with them. I think that'd be a great plan because Gedeke, he was like, 305, around that weight, and he bulked up to like 320, 325 now, and he's all muscle, right?
Big
He's just
doggies.
pure. He's pure muscle right now, and exactly. Um, so yeah, I think, and there's been mentions of Cody Mock potentially going to center, which I could see because he's super athletic. He can do that, and I think he would be better as far as being like a double team type of dude where he can help out on the nose tackles, help out there. But you hope he can continue to add strength and get bigger because you want him to anchor better. Because that was one of his issues. Like he couldn't really anchor properly at times. Same thing with Robert Hainsey. And then Aaron Stinney, you love him in the run game. I think he was a much added boost to that part. The problem with him is he does get beat on pass protection. He just, that's not his strong suit. It's very up and down. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the main focus. They have to definitely upgrade there. And I really think that's the only worry as far as the offense goes. I think Mike Evans is back. I think you'll have most of your guys back as far as starters. It just comes into offensive line in the middle and, maybe a tight end, maybe another receiver here or there. Those all are pieces that can be added. But I think you would agree with that as far as the offense goes, right?
Yeah, to me, just fix the interior. Let's see if Trey Palmer can make that step forward.
Right.
And yeah, like you just said, a tight end that can get the defense to be pushed vertical. I think that would be insane. A guy that can really push those seams. Because
Yeah.
Kate Otten, yes, he proved he can catch the ball sometimes inconsistently.
Right.
A
His
guy,
blocking got better,
yeah,
at least for the most part, a little bit better.
he was a guy that does his job. He's like a little, like he's like a step above Dave Moore. Dave Moore
Mhm.
was just so consistent back in the day. Uh, reliable target in the end zone. Kate Otten, I think, can become that. I just don't think he can ever be a guy that you're scared of, right? That can
Yeah.
really push the envelope of the linebackers to push him deeper to get that opening in the middle of the field. Like I think that
Right.
would help out Rashad White a lot more too, to open up the underneath. But
Mhm.
he does what he needs to do. I just think that's another wrinkle they could add. But overall, like the pieces are all still there. If they come back, all of it, and you upgrade into your line, you're looking at a much better offense overall because that running game will improve with
Yeah.
improved interior linemen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I guess anything more on offense you want to touch on?
No, I mean, we can get into the defense. I wanted to bring up, let me see if I can bring this up real quick. Just wanted oh, nope, that's not it. Where did oh, I gotta share it. That's why. Hold on one second.
Boy,
I'm having all technical difficulties tonight.
can't
So
hear me.
yeah,
Can't
it's all
find your
gone.
damn screen.
We're on to a terrific start to start the off season as far as real Bucks talk goes. I promise, guys, content will get better. It will improve. um, but yeah, this is just the list of free agents, and obviously, the top names. I think Mike Evans is going to be back. You hope Levante David comes back. Baker Mayfield probably going to be back, and then you get into and I didn't even mention this guy's name because we don't think he's
I'll
going to be
stand up
back.
real quick. Stand up.
Uh, yeah, I have my Devin White jersey on. If you guys can see that 45. So,
See.
but yeah,
Whoops.
this last time I'm going to wear it because he's probably not going to be back with us. Um, but you just go through the list. Obviously, Antoine Winfield is going to be a big name. He probably gets the franchise tag, I think. And then you look at some of these other guys. Chase McLaughlin, probably a big name to return. And then the rest of them are pretty much all depth pieces that I don't think will cost very much. Like Greg Gaines, I could see coming back for relatively cheap price. Will Golston, probably not. Matt Filer, I don't think so. Stinney, he could probably be back. Just to have him as depth or potential starter. Ryan Neal won't be back. Chase Edmonds, I think, can return. So all these guys on the bottom here, I think, will be back. But what's your thoughts just on the free agency list? Obviously, those big names, those are the ones we want to get back and fold.
Yeah, the biggest one, bring back Mike. Give him the contract he wants.
Right.
Devin White, please let him walk. He's going to want his big contract. I mean, I could see if he maybe brought it lower, but I just don't want to mess up the chemistry of the defense because yes,
Mhm.
it was kind of smart of him to bring in Britt on running downs, bring in Devin White and passing downs, use him as a pass rusher. I
Right.
want a guy that's run our system, right? Like
Mhm.
it's almost like putting in a quarterback, bringing him back out, and he's supposed to be one big leader. Like no leader wants to do that. right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to have an alpha guy like he is, kind of getting upset, getting his chemistry to the rest of the team. Like I know he didn't really show that often after,
Yeah.
but now like let him go. Like he's shown what he's done. If he wants his money, let him go get it.
Mhm.
Levante David with KJ Britt is going to look real nice, and that's if Levante David comes back. That's a big thing.
Mhm.
He plays so much younger than that age says. I
Yeah.
I think he still has like at least 2 or 3 years more. Like he was flying to the ball in this game,
Mhm.
got a sack in this game. So I'm hoping he comes back if he wants to. And I think if the potential this team has, like he would want to play. Same thing with Mike Evans. I can't keep seeing all these damn. Oh, he could go to the Bears. Why the hell would he go to the Bears? Seriously, why? Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. Like,
Like you said, I think Mike Evans and Levante will be a priority. I think they'll be back. And then, like you said, Antoine Winfield's going to be back regardless. They're going to find a way to get him signed.
yeah, I'm
And
not
Baker,
signing a franchise
what?
tag. I'm hoping it's a sign
Yeah,
franchise tag.
yeah. I think they can franchise tag him, and that way you have time to get him to a long term deal. It buys you, more um, more months to work out free agents and work out whoever you want to add to the roster and then figure out a long-term deal for Winfield. Plus, they're probably going to extend Tristan Wirfs. Like he's going to get a new contract, I think, too.
Yeah.
That helps you in cap space. And then we can talk about, some of the cap casualties. I know people in the chat were talking about it with Carlton Davis. I think Shaq Barrett is definitely one to consider.
Yep.
So I think Shaq Barrett, Carlton Davis, maybe a Jamel Dean. I don't know how his contract works, but since he just got a new one, that might be a little bit harder to do. But yeah, Carlton, Shaq definitely could be cap casualties. And then I think even like a Ryan Jensen, I know they reworked his deal and he's most likely not going to be back with the team. He's pretty much done. I don't think he's returning. So, that could give you some more money. I'm trying to think of anyone else that could be a loss. Obviously, not using the money on Devin White, that helps you out a little bit there too. Um, yeah, nothing else comes to mind as far as other cap casualties. But
Because
those
there's
are
not
probably
much money in anywhere else.
yeah, there's not much room. So,
Really, everyone else is like at either a rookie contract
mhm,
or just not a big contract. The big ones
right.
were on the books just this year. We had
Yeah.
to wait for it to go off. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah,
but like
exactly.
someone was asking in the chat, Shaq didn't get one. No, Shaq didn't get a sack. The only sacks were Levante David and Kalijah Kancey. A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure, though.
Mhm.
I mean, and I guess that's one thing that we wanted to talk about. With money, do you go
Yeah.
after one of these premier edge rushers, or do you wait in the draft? I don't know. At 26, there's going to be one available, but there
Mhm.
is a lot. Surprisingly, going to be some available free agents. I think that want to test the market.
Right.
So do they
Yeah, I
go
mean,
for one of those?
yeah, I can let me see if I can bring up let me see if I can bring up edge rusher here. Let's just do defensive line. Let me see. But yeah, I mean, the free agent group is actually pretty good. Well, no, that's not what I want. Let me bring up edge. But we talked about it, like you have guys like, maybe a Josh Allen, maybe a Bryce Huff. But again, those guys they're gonna command some dollars. So let me
Danielle
see if I can
Hunter.
bring it. Yeah, Danielle Hunter. Where's my mouse? Now I'm having mouse problems. um, there we go. So yeah, Danielle Hunter. You have a lot of names on here. I mean, you look at Zadarius Smith if you want someone older. You have Ngakwe. Chase Young's he's getting a new contract. You look at Leonard Floyd, who had a pretty good year with Buffalo. But again, these guys are command some money. Dorrance Armstrong wouldn't be bad. Josh Allen, but again, he had a great season. Probably going to be either back. So and then Brian Burns, he's the big name. I don't see Bryce Huff name in here, but he's supposed to be a free agent, and I think he would be really underrated value, especially with his role. But yeah, a lot of good pass rushers that could be targeted, especially with the Bucs picking 26. Jonathan Grenard, that's another name I would like.
Yeah,
He's really
holy
good.
hell.
Yeah, he's really good. So yeah, there's quite a list here. I don't want to go through all of it, but yeah, again, we'll break it down. We'll find some targets to look at for sure. Um, but definitely, I think defensively, that's the area where you have to find someone, and you hope you get internal growth from Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Cansey, Marquise Watts, maybe. But yeah, they definitely need to add another guy in the mix at edge rusher that can help them pass rush better, more efficiently with the interior guys getting the push that they are.
I mean, then Corey Hall's thing that we're naming a bunch of 4-3 guys. I mean,
Oh,
yes and no, though, but like,
yeah.
I mean, what can they be asked to do? I mean, it's system wise. Like Julius Peppers is like, yes, he's a freak athlete. He went from a 4-3 to a 3-4, almost like he got better. So like
Hmm.
sometimes it's how are they being used? If it's a guy that's gonna say, no, just get the hell after the quarterback, and we'll find ways where you just have to drop back in a small zone, why the hell not? And we'd tell
Right.
Anthony Nelson to do it, and he's prototypical 4-3 defensive end. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily bad. They're still gonna get good situations to get sacks. I mean, so I wouldn't necessarily. I think a lot of these outside linebackers or 4-3 defensive ends these days are athletic enough to do both. It's just what are they
Mm.
being asked to do? And that's the biggest thing. It's just with any position. Same thing with
Yeah.
quarterbacks, where we're talking about it all off season. Like, oh, Baker's gonna suck. Like, well, what was he asked to do his
Yeah.
first few years, right? And what did Dave Canales do with him? It's not like he did reinvented the wheel. He just made it easier. He asked the damn guy, "What do you like to do? What are you most successful
Mm.
doing?" Okay, we'll keep doing that. And he had to learn that with Chris Godwin too. What do you do best? Okay, let's start using it this way. So it's crazy how good a coach can be to help a player show their attributes, right? But then sometimes
Yeah.
a guy's a freak athlete like Devin White, and then he just is lost. So if
Mm.
you got a good head on your shoulders and you know how to attack the ball, okay, let's get it. But I mean, a lot of it's coaching married with the player.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you look at it, you just look at these team needs for the team going into the offseason right now. I think offensively, we talked about interior offensive line, and then defensively, it's safety and it's edge rusher, right? It's finding a pass rusher, whether that's edge or it could be another interior guy, because again, the defense funnels from the interior. That's how they like to operate. Could it be a linebacker that they like, that they could bring in to put next to Levante David? Maybe an upgrade over what they've had in the past, because if they could find a super athletic linebacker that can play smart and play the system and play within the coverage, that could be a huge benefit to them. And I think that's what they were trying to find with Devin White, but it just didn't work out because Devin White is who he is. He's just not, just couldn't figure those things out as far as the mental game, as far as understanding coverages and playing within the system. And that hurt him. So I think those three positions, the ones we named, I think those are the top needs. I think, do you have any other needs that you think they could go after?
On defense, 400%, the second safety next to Antoine Field Jr. I
Yeah.
mean, if you can get an interchangeable guy, I know it's really hard to find. They can
Right.
play in box, but also interchangeably go out and cover deep. Yeah, it's hard to ask, but D. Delaney was a cornerback playing safety, and he ended up
Yep.
taking over the starting role because Ryan Neal was doing that bad.
Right.
Like,
Zion McCollum.
when Ty McCollum was out there, another corner playing safety, just because of speed.
Hmm.
When we lost Jordan Whitehead, we lost a lot, and he was just the thumper in the middle, the extra linebacker, like to allow anyone behind him to just free roam. Like he probably helped out Devin White so damn much too. Like
Hmm.
he was literally a mini linebacker at safety, and I loved him coming out of Pittsburgh. I was like so hyped up when we drafted him in the fourth round that people were pissed off we didn't take Derwin James. Like we got the better safety. Like, I was
Yeah.
hyping him up left and right, and he just got better and better every year. And he's a free agent again. He's still going to command money because he's just a good player.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe he has a bad taste in his mouth because we interchanged him with Mike Edwards because they were trying to get a ball hawk. I think
Hmm.
you get back to where you can fill a guy that can be a strong safety because you're asking Winfield to do so damn much. I know he's a hell of a good
Yeah.
player, but give him a compliment because I feel like the guys next to him just were nowhere near the par of what you need for an average safety, let alone a guy
Yeah.
that's pretty good. So if you can upgrade
Yeah.
that, get an edge rusher, I think you're. I think KJ Britt's perfectly fine, middle linebacker. I think just
Yeah, I
that.
think they could run with him.
I think just a compliment safety and an edge rusher. Corners, if you restructure one of the guys, if you lose one of them, Zion McCollum steps in. Yeah,
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
draft him. I'm not saying a high pick. I'm thinking more just the safety and edge rusher to me.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I think safety, I think you nailed it because you need that guy that can play in the box, be a good run defender, a good
Yep.
tackler, can match up with tight ends if needed. Um, so yeah, move Devin White. Yeah, that would be funny. Well, he does like going downhill, so I guess that could work in his favor. But yeah, I think strong safety is definitely a huge priority, especially if you, like you said, if you can find a guy that can play the middle of the field like you need it, and then have Winfield be your free safety back there to cover more space, and then also come down and play nickel at times. That would be a lot of fun. And you just hope the development of Izzian continues, and maybe he can be a bigger piece for you, or you potentially upgrade there. Uh, but yeah, a lot of moving parts. But I don't think there's going to be that much change going into this offseason. I think they're going to try to keep a lot of their guys that they have, and then hopefully try to add to it and build a better depth and build better starter quality as far as getting more guys in there that can just complement, like you said, complement the guys that are already in place. And that's what you have to love about this front office and Jason Light, because they have a plan in place where they do a good job of finding those guys that can come in and be a compliment. Sometimes they don't work out. We thought Ryan Neal was going to be that guy, and it just didn't happen. Um, just didn't happen for him. So, but he did find Baker, and I think a lot of fans have to be happy with that, and hopefully that continues to grow with Dave Canales growing, and you see that marriage just continue to take place moving forward. And it should be a really exciting offseason. A lot to discuss as far as just big names coming back. Obviously Mike Evans watch, Baker Mayfield. Those two guys are probably going to be connected. Once one guy signs, I think the other guy will sign,
Right.
and that should be a lot of fun, and see how the numbers break down.
And you even heard him talk in his ending press
Mm,
conference. He's like, sacrifices will have to be made, but
right.
we're willing to do this. Like, I feel like Baker just wants to be here and
Mhm,
will do what it takes to get the team back.
right.
Like, that's the vibe I get out of him. I mean, this is a guy that was a top pick, and he got brought all the way down to earth
Yeah.
and was like, "Holy crap, this is my probably last opportunity." And he chose the Bucs. He was the one calling us, saying,
Mhm,
I want this team. I know this organization can do it." And he was right. He bet
yeah.
on himself again. He did it in college, going from what, Texas Tech to Oklahoma as a walk-on, right? And he did
Yep.
it here. It was his opportunity to say, "No, like, this is the team I wanna go to, and I think they have the best opportunity for me to succeed." And he just found the perfect marriage with the offensive coordinator that can use his traits well. I just think a lot of this, it's just a pieces here and there. And if you're talking interior offensive lineman, you can find that. It doesn't have to be a first round pick. You can
Mhm,
find that later in the draft. An additional running back, if Chase Edmonds doesn't come back, you can find that later in the draft. Offensively, I think those are the only areas you really truly need. And then get the continuity like how the Lions have for
yep.
years. I mean, Ben Johnson's been year after year being a head coach candidate. That's a long time they've been together.
Mhm,
So offensively, I think they're fine. Just build it together and actually know what the hell you got to do next year, right? With a quarterback that knows the system, players that know the system. When we won the Super Bowl, just Brady had to learn the offense. Everyone else already knew what the hell they had to do, right?
yeah.
So this one, everyone had to learn. And then
Yep, definitely.
defensively, it's just like I think it's just those two damn pieces. And
Yeah,
interchange.
no, I think you're right on it. I think Baker will be back because guess what? He found a home here. He's about to have a child, as well. Um,
Tampa, baby.
yeah. Um, Yeah, we gotta protect him. Yeah, definitely. And I think he's found a home. I think he's very comfortable here in Tampa. I think he likes working with Dave Canales. He loves the receivers. He loves, hit the teammates. So I think that is gonna work well for the Bucs as far as getting a contract. They'll get it done, and he'll be back. He'll be your starting quarterback for the next few seasons, and hopefully it continues. Hopefully it goes beyond that. Um, but yeah, I like where the direction of this team is heading. Now it's just, figuring out a game plan and how they want to attack. And I do want to say, I think one change that could be made to the coaching staff, I think special teams coach could use an upgrade. I think that is something that they're trying to get better. And Keith Armstrong just, I don't know if he's cutting it. I don't know if it's just the players aren't fully buying into what they're scheming up. It just seems like that area of the field just never improves as far as returning or coverage. So that is something that I think could see change. I know Devin Tompkins could have competition this offseason, I think. And actually, I'm comfortable if they bring back David Moore. I like David Moore as
Oh yeah.
the fourth receiver, and then have Trey, Chris, and Mike as the top four guys, and then I think you add up probably another rookie to the mix that could maybe be a dual threat player, and see what you have.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Hmm.
But also like you're not a fan favorite of him, but Raheem Jarrett, they're really high on him. Let's see what he adds
Yeah,
this year if they bring in competition for him. I
right.
feel like, I mean, whenever freaking Jason Light drafts a receiver, it's usually a pretty damn good one. I think he's had
Mhm.
just one mess up. What Kenny was it? Kenny Bell? Is that what his name was?
Yeah, Kenny Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and he
Raheem. Yeah,
his dad's school. But
yeah,
yeah, Jason Light's pretty good with his draft pick. So if he drafts a receiver, I think it's a pretty rock solid opportunity for a guy to make it. But
yeah.
yeah, but I think also like let's get a designated guy that you've seen return the ball. Like a lot of
Hmm.
these guys, none of them return. Yeah, Scotty Miller, he didn't really return the ball much in
Yeah,
college.
yeah.
Yeah,
Devin did it.
do it.
Yeah, he did a little bit in college, but again, it wasn't consistent enough.
Yeah, he was like their number one receiver in college. I think he broke
Right.
records his senior year. So like
Yeah.
he doesn't really return the ball much. Give me a guy that you've scouted, like, oh, this guy can move. Okay,
Hmm.
Cooper DeJean, maybe two birds one
Yeah.
stone, like a returner and a safety corner. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, prepare yourself. You're gonna hear a lot about you're gonna hear a lot about Cooper DeJean, as he's probably he's our favorite as far as draft prospects so far. But again, it's early in the process. We're just starting to look at potential selectees as far as draft picks for the Bucs. So that will come within time. And yeah, so everyone get ready. It's going to be another fun off season. It's unfortunate the season is over, but I think you have to be very proud of what this team has accomplished, and the future does look very good, as far as what the pieces they have currently, the roster built, the team, guys who are running the team. I think you have to be confident in that. So yeah, we'll see what takes place, and I think that's going to do it for us. Mark, any last comments?
I want to say this.
Anything?
So with the lull in the middle of the season, how pissed we were at Todd Bowles. I got to give him his credit, his almost an apology because the dude just stood steadfast, stuck to his guns, says I'm going to stay the same even keel, not
Mm,
pissed off, not blow up, continuously encourage people. Like you heard nothing but good things from Dave Canales, Casey Rogers. Like they're like that guy's the same damn guy every damn
mhm.
day. Comes in early, he's telling us what to do, like staying with it. And I gotta give him 100% credit for the turnaround. And I know he has to deal with some of the dumbest questions and how his laugh sometimes, like because he's so serious, and then his laugh comes out. You just you really like it when that emotion comes out of him. But I got to give him
Mm,
his credit for keeping the team together and putting together a hell of a run at the end of the season. Because yeah, we were bashing him in the middle of that season because the defense was looking bad. A lot of things were falling apart, and he kept it together. So I gotta give
yep.
him his credit, and that's why he still has a job.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, I'm about to ban your wife from the chat with these things she's saying. I mean, let's get Jameis back. Come on now. Come on now. Nicole, just go back to watching your show or
I
something.
like how she spelled it too. I thought she meant
Yeah.
James, like getting like.
With that said, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the show, please subscribe. And we appreciate all the support throughout this season, throughout the upcoming months, the off season. And I hope you guys enjoy the content that we're going to have coming for you. And it should be a lot of fun talking about the direction of this team and how they can improve, and hopefully 2024 brings us a really good season, because I think there's potential for this team to be really good, especially much improved from last season if the right moves are made, which we know this front office can do for sure. But with that said, I think that's going to do it. And I hope everyone has a great night. Everyone enjoy their week and get ready for some awesome off-season content that's going to be coming your way very soon. So with that said, everyone have a great night and go Bucs.